Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from an undisclosed location. Yeah, I'm traveling for about 3 weeks. I'll still be able to bring you updates, and I'm going to, in this video, look at some breaking news that I broke on Twitter. It's big news for getting XRP ready in many corridors for on-demand liquidity. Also, why did Gensler say no? We're going to take a look at that because it is something we really need to follow in terms of who is going to regulate this space. And also a soft fork for Bitcoin. What is good for Bitcoin is good for the entire space. That is for sure. So the market, it's mixed again, still holding on to its 2.8 trillion. And Bitcoin wasn't shaken too hard from Gensler not approving the spot ETF. That is the electronic traded fund that is backed or was to be backed 1-to-1 with an actual Bitcoin. And that matters because it has an impact on the supply, which then has a direct correlation to demand. And supply and demand are the two most basic economics to have positive price movement. Gensler, in his 51 pages of explaining his disapproval, bottom line, he wants legislation clearly defined for which agency has control over the various crypto spaces, especially when it comes to the exchanges. So we're going to have to wait for that to really fall into place before we see an ETF. All right, going back to the market, in the top 100 by market cap, we have Loop Ring up 13%. That's a protocol that's Ethereum based for building decentralized exchanges. It is trading at $3.18. And in the second position is Audius, up 7%. That's a decentralized music sharing protocol, $2.60, which is listed on Gemini today. I think that has a lot to do with the positive price action. And then in the third position is Secret, up 6% or $8.14. That is the native coin on the Secret network. It is part of a data privacy for smart contracts. Yeah, I think the secret encrypted data is important. I'm a real privacy advocate. And that project I'm going to look into even further. It's traded on Binance, Bitmartin, Gate.io. I'm very interested in this project. All right, the Winklevoss twins. Yeah, I think you recognize them, right? Cameron and Tyler. Those are the Bitcoin billionaires who are on the ground floor of the Facebook creation. They have an exchange, and that is Gemini. And in addition to Audius, they also listed Quant today, which I'm so happy for, and Shiba Inu. And I just couldn't believe those two coins just can't be more separate in terms of its use case. I know that there are many Inu coins, including this new Kitty Inu. And I have to be honest, the logo of this Hello Kitty likeness in a cosplay dog costume, it strikes me as so cute. Well, we don't know which ones are going to have the staying power. I am a live and let live type person. So if you're one of the 23% who are in this space only to make a quick buck, these kind of coins, you might be able to do that with. Just be careful because they're sometimes here today and gone tomorrow. All right, I want to give a shout out to the Bitcoin developers. This is a big activation that took place, Taproot. It's an improvement to the chain, an upgrade to enhance privacy and security. It takes a tiny step, too, to building more scalability, but it's all good. And I just have to reiterate, what is good for Bitcoin is good for the entire ecosystem. Now, this is an interesting article. The former Citi CTO says every large bank will actively consider crypto in 1 to 3 years, whether it's trading or services like custody. This is the former Morgan Stanley employee as well, very forward-leaning. He made this comment at the Singapore FinTech, which is a region in the world, Southeast Asia, that's leading right now in terms of adoption and regulation. That is probably going to be the central, what would I want to say? For 2021, Singapore has turned out to be really the central driving force in this space. But 2022 is kind of wide open. I think you're going to see Australia making some big moves along with Thailand. So who will it be? Australia, Singapore, or Thailand? I am going to say that 2022 will prove out to be one of those three in being a leader. Now, as an XRP holder, many new airdrops are being offered. I think many of you probably know about the solo drop that will have a snapshot on December 24th. I'm going to participate in that for sure, but don't rely on exchanges to participate. You really want to self-custody. I'm going to use the Sum app, which is out of the Netherlands. And Sum, which is led by Wietse Wind, the XRP Labs team, they have some big news, new regulatory status from the Dutch Central Bank. It's great because this step is going to allow them to be soon able to add fiat on-ramps and off-ramps. And initially, they'll do it for the Dutch users, but in time, they want to roll out this functionality more widely. Congratulations, Wietse and the team. I think this is a really great development. All right, Stu Alderati, he's the general counsel for Ripple. He put out a tweet about the former CFTC commissioner, Brian Quintenz, that he gives his take at the Swell event, point blank. And Stu Alderati couldn't agree with him more. These blanket statements like Wild West or categorizing the entire crypto industry in language that is not about public policy, but rather politics, which Gensler is doing, is so wrong. I want you to listen to this minute in 24-second Sum video, but in relation to what Brian is talking about, it's this quote that came from Gensler in October. Currently, we don't have enough investor protection in crypto finance, in issuance, trading, or lending. Frankly, at this time, it's more like the Wild West or the old world of buyer beware that existed before the securities laws were enacted. This asset class is rife with fraud, scams, and abuse. In certain applications, we can do better. So this is really the kind of environment he's creating. And if we listen to the Ripple Swell portion where Brian Quintenz is speaking, I think his response is really eye-opening. So have a listen. I have it up 100% both on the video and on my laptop. So I know it's a little bit shy of being as loud as it needs to be, but here we go.
As a regulator, I care about effective and appropriate public policy. And I try to advocate for public policy with the language of public policy, using problems, using solutions, using data, using anecdotes from market participants, using relationships with regulators. The language that was used in this case is not language of public policy. It's language of politics. It's a language of persuasion and manipulation. Blanketly throwing out terms like that to an entire ecosystem, in my view, does not inform a policy debate. And then to blanketly categorize that ecosystem as rife with fraud, abuse, and manipulation, I think does a number of things. First is that it ignores the fact that the CFTC has anti-fraud and anti-manipulation authority over that space. And if it truly is rife with those activities, we have a federal regulator that can use its enforcement powers to address those things.
Spot on. All right, we are jumping to the breaking news. This is really great news. This is Lulu Exchange, and they are in the UAE, and they have struck a strategic partnership using Ripplenet. Pakistan is the sixth largest remittance receiving country in the world, and it will be Ripplenet ready. And this is also going to be part of a group rollout pilot for Bahrain, Oman, Kuwait, Qatar, Singapore, and Malaysia. Yeah, more Southeast Asia and the Middle East, so strong in this part of the world. And once the regulatory clarity, well, in some of those countries, regulatory clarity is already there. But once we get those rails laid down, which is required to be done first, and then where you've got the clarity and you've got the liquidity in place and the coming liquidity hub, XRP just drops in easily with really basically no other integration needed. So this is super exciting. It was in the Gulf news. It broke just about maybe 3 hours ago. So congratulations to Brooks Entwistle is quoted in this article because this is part of his region. He is just really, there it is, Brooks Entwistle, Managing Director of Ripplenet in the APAC and MENA region, said, "We're excited to partner with Bank Alfalah and long-standing customer Lulu International Exchange to bring faster, cheaper, and more efficient cross-border payments to Pakistan." Super. Really, really, really super. All right, everybody, we are going to jump to some fluff. And even though I'm out of Japan, of course, I'm still paying attention to the news. And this was the biggest news today is Princess Mako, who is part of the royal family there. And I'm not a big royal watcher, but this is a big statement that she has made. She has done something very similar to what Harry and Meghan did. She's leaving the royal family in a way which is totally cutting off ties. And she is moving to New York with her new husband. It's a big deal. Yeah, this is I think the change that we're seeing around the world, and this young couple is kind of taking that same sort of new life with detaching from those royal ties. Very interesting. And here is a beautiful, beautiful patissier company in Kyoto. Really scrumptious, right? And when you travel in Japan, especially on the bullet train, which is called the Shinkansen, it is all about the food and drink that you have when you go on your trip. It's very much what everybody looks forward to doing. And I think the company, the patissier here, realized that a lot of people want to eat some yummy, fancy desserts on the train, which is a little difficult because most of the train food is packaged in a box called a bento. And yeah, you are a little bit limited. But this Kyoto company decided not to limit anymore. They have creatively packaged these yummy desserts inside a clear canned presentation, which is so beautiful, actually. So just pop the can off, dip your spoon in, and it should taste the same. I love the way it looks, and I'm really impressed with the creativeness that they used in bringing those desserts into a new way to eat. I love it. And also, something interesting in Japan that you'll find is there's a lot of photographers, and it is very competitive, and they're always looking for ways to define their business that go into verticals with a lot of focus. And a lot of those photographers focus on cosplay because cosplay is a really serious art form. And the people who do participate want to also have the best photographers and the best backdrops to work with. So this is one way that photographers build their business. Another way also is to get skillful at using the software tools. This is great, don't you think? I think that's just great. And then there is a wedding photographer in Tokyo that has worked out a deal with the National Museum and reserves their museum space for wedding pictures. And I think this is a real winner of an idea because, wow, what a space. I think if you were a young couple and getting married, this would be very appealing to have your wedding photographs in the interior of the National Museum. Love it. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.